we'll go Redlands to Paradise. Victor 86 to Tanner. Victor 186, excuse me, to Tanner. To Poggy, or Pogie, not sure how you say that. From Pogie, we'll go to Mission Bay. And by then we'll be on an approach. Weather looks nice. Departing, a few clouds at 10,000. Arriving, a few clouds at 3,000, so we'll probably get a visual. Into San Diego. Pretty straightforward. Get this program to GPS here. Redlands. Direct to PDZ. Back to our map real quick. From Paradise, it's essentially direct to Tanner, T-A-N-N-R. Okay. After Tanner, direct to Hale. From there, direct to Hale. Yeah, so we're not actually going to Pogie, we're going to Hale, direct from there to Mission Bay. MCB. And then to the airport. Oops. Okay, ACD, that's not it. S. Easy. So turn on GPS mode. Get out of this. There we go. Alright. Yeah, a flight into Mammoth Lakes would be fun. It's not in the PilotEdge service area, so we wouldn't have ATC up there. But that's okay. That doesn't bother me because it's actually a uncontrolled field anyway. So having ATC for that kind of a flight is not a huge deal. But yeah, that sounds fun to me. I'll have to get some good scenery for X-Plane 4 for sure. Alright, let's see what else do we need to do to get set here. We need a flight plan. Get that filed. Caravan 526 Victor, Cessna 208. We are slant Golf. True at about 155. Redlands to San Diego at 9,000. Looks good to me. This flight should be around 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Yeah, the centers are divided up by PE basically covers Los Angeles Center, which covers LA up to Bakersfield and all the way out to Las Vegas, down to Yuma, and across to San Diego. Mammoth is in Oakland Center, which we used to cover, but it just wasn't getting enough traffic to justify keeping it staffed. So you can still fly San Francisco into anywhere in the LA Center, but the rest of Oakland is uncontrolled. But as long as the flight starts from a PE airport, I think there's no reason not to do it. Alright, so we got a route file here. Get the autopilot program plugged in here. Oh, I should check the obstacle departure procedure. Hey, Jazzan the follower. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Let's see. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Redlands obstacle departure. Takeoff minimums here. Let's go have a look. Redlands. There we go. Alright, what do we got? Takeoff minimum is runway 8, not authorized runway 26. That makes sense considering there's mountains to the east. So we'll depart runway 26. Climbing left turn direct Paradise, aircraft departing Paradise, climb on course. We will departing Paradise, which radial? Let's go look. Okay, 130. So we'll be within the radial 0901 clockwise to 140, so we can just climb on course. That's cool. Yeah, man, of course I got Twitch follow notifications. What do you think? This isn't no rinky-dink operation. Gotta be able to interact with my fans. My legions and legions of fans. Alright, we can close that. That's good to go. Yeah. Flight plan is filed. Alright, so we need to get clearance. Now, this is kind of an interesting one because Redlands is an uncontrolled airport, so we can't just dial up the ground frequency and get our IFR. We actually need to go find the overlying SoCal sector, which is on the approach chart. There are lots of places to get this information. I always just go to the instrument approaches for the airport if there are any, and this has one. And we can see here SoCal's on 12725. So that'll be who we want to talk to here. And that's actually who I had dialed up earlier. So I'll switch back to COM 12725 and get my notebook out and get ready to get some clearance here. I have this feeling like I should have heard something by now. Let's go have a look, make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to. Yeah, it looks like it is.
Sky 160, Charlie, Delta radar contact 5 miles south of Salinas. Go ahead with request. Sky 2, Charlie, Delta, we do not provide service to the Monterey Airport. The only airport we will provide service to in the Oakland area, the Oakland Center area, is going to be San Francisco Airport, and even then it's usually only IFR. Radar service is terminated. Squawk and maintain VFR and frequency changes approved.
Wait for him to read back that, and then we'll jump in here. SoCal Caravan 526 Victor on the ground at Redlands. Like to pick up our IFR to San Diego.
Caravan 526 Victor. SoCal approach. Roger. Standby.
Let's see, anything else we need to do? Got our lights are on, gears down and welded. Check our pitch trim.
Caravan 526 Victor, you're cleared to San Diego Lindbergh Airport as filed. And maintain 6,000, expect 9,000 5 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 135.4, squawk 2662, and hold for release.
Okay, cleared as filed. We will climb to 6,000, departure frequency 135.4, squawk 2662 for 526 Victor.
Caravan 526 Victor, readback is correct. And how long until you're ready for departure?
Caravan 526 Victor, we're ready in the next 5 minutes or so.
Caravan 26 Victor, Roger. Release for departure and clearance is void. If not off by 0355 Zulu, time now 0342. Frequency changes approved and contact departure airborne. Have a great flight.
Okay, we'll be void if not off by 0355 Zulu, frequency change, and we'll contact you airborne. Thanks. that is how you do IFR out of an uncontrolled field, just like that. So let's see, what else do we need to set here? I'll set my transponder up to 6. Whoops, come on. 2. Got the climb dialed in for 6,000. We get to go direct.
512 kilo, SoCal departure radar contact.
Oops, zoom in. Alright. So we are right in front of this building here.
XL886, descend to maintain 5,000, and fly present heading join runway 1 left, localize, report the airport in sight.
Runway's down there on the end, so we just gotta go drive down. Looks like there's a... okay, there's a taxiway right there. Cool. Alright, pick up the CTAF right here, 12305. Redlands traffic, Caravan 526 Victor, we're going to taxi down to runway 26 for a departure to the southwest Redlands. Let's go for a drive. Hey, T.A. Sanford, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. I'll say this a couple more times, but I always have chat open while I'm flying, so feel free if you want to ask questions or say hello. I always like to talk to people. I find this hilarious. I don't think a MD-80 has ever been to this airport in the middle of nowhere, but some very optimistic scenery designer decided they would include that, and you just gotta love it. Alright, so our initial climb is going to be up to 6,000 per SoCal. We'll climb runway heading for a little bit, and then we'll make that left turn direct to Paradise and get our flight plan started. This is a nice easy one. We're going to fly GPS direct most of the way. Got the GPS set to be the navigational source here. Sorry, not GPS direct, but the GPS will be handling the navigation. We won't be flipping the VORs every 5 minutes. I think if I had to pick a least favorite part of the flight, it would be the taxiing. You're not supposed to start on the hold short line, and I get it, I understand why, but it's just kind of obnoxious to be driving around. Yeah, Tillan, you know, if you've watched my flights, I, for the longest time, flew X-plane slant alpha, which means you are declaring to the controller you have no GPS, you just have VOR DME, and I would fly all these tech routes by manually tuning the nav radios, flying the radios, and I still like doing that once in a while, but I really can't say enough good things about this X-plane 10.30 default GPS that they added to all the planes. Having something of this capability has really changed my kind of perspective on how I like to fly, and this is actually the first flight in a very long time that I'm flying slant golf and using the GPS, and I don't know, I might change my mind later, but for now I think it's going to work. Alright, we see any planes? Nope. We sure don't. Redlands traffic, Caravan 526 Victor, we're going to depart 26, departure to the southwest direct Paradise, Redlands. Yeah, if you started X-plane at 10.30, you are coming in at the right time. I don't know if I go straight to spoiled, but X-plane has come a long way in the 3 years that I've been using it. It's really just it's turned from kind of like the also ran in the flight sim competitions, the flight sim wars, to a really serious piece of software, and I kind of had to use it because of PilotEdge only working on X-Plane from the very beginning. We only had a X-Plane client for a long time, but now I use it by choice. Let's just put it that way. So we just flew that plane right into the air. This Caravan just loves to take off. Let's build up a little bit of speed here. Yeah, you know what you're talking about there, where you hit direct and cancel to get to the back to the map. I've noticed that too. I think there's something's not quite right with how a real 430 works, because I've had issues as well trying to get back to the map screen in the GPS, and I haven't always exactly figured out what that is. All right, so now that we're airborne, we'll switch back to SoCal. Get ready to give them a call.
Across the Seal Beach VOR at 5,000, and for Seal Beach, clear ILS, runway 20 right approach.
Go ahead and get us on course here.
A 5 kilo tank must make those requests with the exams. You got to assume that the instructors, sure, we're watching you take the exam, but we do not know what the exams are. You have to make the request.
Turn this back to track up mode. I always like track up. I like to be going towards the top of the screen.
XL 880 stern left, heading 090.
Alright, we need to check in here. SoCal, good evening. Caravan 526 Victor with you. Airborne out of Redlands through 2,400 for 6,000.
Caravan 526 Victor, SoCal departure radar contact. Approximately 20 miles northeast of Paradise VOR. Con and maintain 9,000.
Up to 9,000 for 26 Victor. Thanks. Alright, we are on our way.
XL 886, you're in an area of minimum vectoring altitude of 5,000. Are you able to maintain your own terrain avoidance and obstacle avoidance? XL 886, roger. Do that, and turn left, heading 050.
Hey, Disgraced Pilot, good to see you again. We just left Redlands, the flight that you and I chatted through most of. We left off at Redlands, and now we just
Number 122 Big Inform, contact Santa Barbara approach on 125.4. There's a 507 uniform SoCal departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 4,000.
Yeah, Disgraced Pilot, can't promise that I'll always do it, but I'm actually flying this Caravan for FS Economy, which is a, if you're not familiar with it, is a kind of a standalone economic system that gives you a persistent world economy. So I purchased this virtual Caravan, and am flying virtual passengers around, so I've got a load of, I think, 7 virtual passengers on their way to San Diego. So that's kind of how I figure out how and where and what to fly. Not all the time. Sometimes I'll just hop in a plane and go where I want to go, but I started FS Economy a long time ago, about 7-8 years. And it's a cool community, it's a lot of fun. There's
5,000.
In typical flight sim fashion, it's kind of odd sometimes, and the software is a little funky, and the website works a little funky, but it's fun. It gives you something to do as a pilot, instead of being like, well, I don't know, I guess I'll fly this plane from this place to this place. Sure, whatever. You have more of a, like, purpose and a place that you are going to be sent, which is a little more like being a real pilot, I guess. So that's why I like it.
Contact again now on 118.75. Have a good night.
Checking out our flight here from Redlands down to San Diego. You know, joining a group is a lot of fun, and I've flown in groups in the past. I'm not in one right now. I just own my own planes. I've been doing it long enough that I'm able to afford having 3 or 4 planes. You can certainly get a lot out of it as a new pilot. You just have to rent aircraft instead of owning them, which means you're going to be a little bit more at the mercy of what's available. Or you'll be flying legs that are like repositioning kind of legs. like maybe you want to fly a 182 from
Track 2, uniform traffic.
Redlands to San Diego. Well, that's dependent on there being a 182 at
182
Redlands for you to fly, and if there isn't, you got to go find one and bring it over. But as long as you're okay with that, it's not a big deal.
Caravan 56 Victor, your shortcut direct to Nichols available, Mike.
What's the destination fix again? Sorry.
Caravan 26, it's a nickel on Victor 186, south of Temecula.
Sure, we'll take direct nickel, thanks.
Caravan 526, roger. Cleared direct to resume Victor 186.
Alright, so we didn't have that fix. It's right here. We didn't have that fix in our flight plan, so we gotta go.
Caravan 526, Victor, correct, to be cleared direct nickel to join Vic 6 and resume on navigation.
Okay, direct nickel to join Victor 186 and resume on nav. We're going to be on current course for just a second while we program that in.
126 Victor, roger, not a problem.
I always found it's better to own the issue rather than just pretend we don't know what we're doing. Alright, I think I know how to insert a point here. We're going to find out. We're going to learn together. Yeah, exactly. You can fly whatever aircraft model you want. There's a mapping system essentially that says this flight sim plane is this FSE plane, so you can fly whatever 182 model suits your fancy. It is not specific to that. Alright, we got nickel in our plan. And now I should be able to hit enter on it, or maybe it's direct to. Yeah, there we go. Direct to, boom. So to insert a point, I was on the flight plan page, FPL, and then I hit the cursor, and then I selected the point that was the one after where I wanted to insert. So in this case, I selected Tanner, and then I started turning the inner knob just like I was going to be dialing in a waypoint, and it worked. and I say that with some amusement because I didn't really know. I didn't really know that was going to work. It was kind of an assumption, but that's kind of the cool thing about these GPSs is they just kind of work the way you might expect them to sometimes, which is nice. I will be the first to admit I've never used a real 430. I've flown right seat in a couple planes that had them, but I wasn't allowed to touch them by the guys who were flying. So, but you mess with it long enough, you kind of get the hang of it. And yeah, I say it all the time, but I can't say enough about how much this little gizmo here has changed my appreciation for flying X-plane, both for the navigation, but also for easy manipulation of the comms. And the common nav frequencies. I have SciTech panels on my desk that I use for the manipulators, but even just reading to see what the values are, it's nice. And of course the Carenado using
King Air 0 Delta Yankee received a report
scroll
from
wheel
SoCal,
manipulators
Ontario
for
weather
everything doesn't
shifting
hurt
a little
either.
bit. Looks like they're landing east now, landing one of the 8s.
Get our altimeter up to snuff here. There we go. I'm going to slow down our climb a little bit since it seems like we're kind of...
Reserve Delta Yankee, roger. I'll pass a note along to SoCal. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, the Screw Around Till It Works school of FMS and GPS programming. Yeah.
Victor, uniform, let me know when you have the port in sight.
I'm sorry, say again for 526 Victor?
November 2 Victor, uniform, let me know when you have the airport in sight.
Ah, shit, that wasn't for us at all. My bad. I just responded to a call that wasn't for me, which is just the silliest feeling thing you can do. So to answer your question, we... Nickel is on
122 Victor uniform, roger.
Victor 186, the route that we filed. So we were originally going to go all the way to Paradise and then to Nickel, and the controller called me up and said, "Hey, you want to go straight to Nickel?"
2 Victor uniform, contact Santa Barbara Tower 119.7.
Yes, I do.
We stepped on each other. November 122 Victor uniform, contact Tower 119.7.
Well, part of it is having been a VATSIM controller, I know how annoying it is to read an instruction and have somebody else answer it. It's pretty frustrating. So to know that I just did that to somebody is not not a great feeling. Not a real great feeling at all. But that's alright. We'll make it.
Delta Yankee. Roger, the Palmdale Alder 3015.
Let's see if I can find the light switch here. I think it's this one. Feels like the gauges are kind of dark. Yeah, okay, too much. Too much. There we go. You can see a little better now. Hopefully you can too. Yeah, this is kind of a pig of a plane. You are absolutely right. It is slow, but again, FS Economy, having something that can haul up to 11 virtual passengers for very inexpensive is nice. And of course, one of the Caravan's big weaknesses is that it's not pressurized, so it can't climb above, I think, the service ceiling.
If you want a non-published,
oh, hello.
I can do that
some
as
traffic
well.
coming up here. Just keep an eye on this, make sure everything's okay.
It all depends on what you want.
Crossing right over the top. But yeah, the Caravan's main weakness is it can't climb above 11,000 unless it's only the crew, because the crew has oxygen, but the passengers obviously do not. There's an oxygen system right up here.
Roger, do you want something easy or do you want something difficult?
But if you're flying PilotEdge in SoCal, you're mostly flying, you know, under 10K, point to point, anyway. So that's cool. No big deal.
Okay. I mean, we can do a whole Palmdale, or we can do one, you know, along the arrival. You just let me know what you want to do. Figure 50 Delta Yankee, Roger. Descend and maintain 14,000, and contact Los Angeles Center 125.27 for holding instruction.
All right. See how we're doing on our progress here. So we're about to make the turn at Nickel, and that'll put us on to Victor 186, heading more into the southern area. We'll go past French Valley Airport here in a little bit. Look at the sectional to see what else we're passing that might be of interest.
King Air 50, King Air 50 Delta Yankee Los Angeles Center.
Yeah, I believe the real world is 12,000 or 12,500. I believe the Caravan's official.
Here's Delta Yankee. Roger. You prefer we keep it on the Zydia, right? On the
unoxygenated recommendation for most operators is 12,000, just to give a little bit of safety cushion. Plus, of course, you're usually flying these things IFR, so it's going to be 12,000 or 13,000, not 12,500.
50 Delta Yankee, Roger. Palmdale.
Another piece of traffic over there. Let's keep an eye on it.
Is 3015. Hold at the Palmdale VOR southeast on the 104 radio with left turn.
I was watching, I think it's Alex's Flying Club. He was flying the A2A P51, the FSX P51, and he was he misread his altimeter and thought he was at 6,500. He was actually at 16,500, and it turns out A2A planes have hypoxia modeled. So his view started shaking back and forth and fading to black, and it was he was trying to figure out what was going on. Everyone in the chat was trying to figure out what was going on. It was pretty funny, and I was like, well, I wonder if it's hypoxia, and that's. I think he somehow knew where the oxygen controls were in the P51, because that plane does have a mask system you can turn on, and once he found that, it was fine. But it's pretty funny. How fast are we going here? Can I get a ground speed here? Maybe it's in here. 177. That's not bad. We got a nice wind up here if we're going 177 in a Caravan. Alright. so that's our turn on to Victor 186, thanks to our helpful shortcut. I always do that, I always hit the wrong range buttons. French Valley is up there, on the left. See if we can spot it here.
Number 2 Kilo Tango, can you find your outbound radio from the CLB right now?
I can't see it yet. Yeah, exactly. At least you die happy with hypoxia. There's worse ways to go, that's for sure. Yeah, DTK is the heading that we're tracking.
Can you confirm your outbound radio from Seal Beach right now?
I believe one of these is our current heading and one of these is the desired heading. Are you kidding me? The range buttons are reversed? No wonder I always hit the wrong ones.
Tango. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to issue the I-6 step
that
at
is,
this point.
That is hilarious. Now that's my reason why I screw it up all the time, is because the buttons are backwards. That's my story, I'm sticking to it.
And you should be on a radio rather than a head. So you should fly Beach outbound on the 049 radio until you reach Sager, and then the procedure turn at Sager. Well, you fly the radio technically, which takes you directly to Sager. That is correct. Yes, sir.
Hey, Cat Trader, good to see you, man.
No, really, you request it from clearance delivery or ground, whoever it is that you first begin with. After that, it should be passed down from controller to controller. That's correct. So you need to make requests for approach types or routing, or your requests that are.
Hey, Alex, good to see you. I was just—I don't know if you heard. I was just telling the story of your P51 hypoxia the other day,
so it'd be just like if you worked.
We were discussing hypoxia up at Caravan altitudes, and I had to share the story of you and the P51 at 16,000. That was one that I'll remember for a while. Watching that screen start bobbing back and forth.
Calling for radio check, cancer clear.
Hey, heli pilot, good to see you. Who invited the helicopter? Also known as what every IFR pilot in SoCal thinks every time they're trying to fly anywhere. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Thank you, go ahead.
Some traffic out here over the desert.
King Air 0, looks like Yankee 090 with right turns is approved. Rest of appearance unchanged.
So, while we're up at Cruise, I'll just take a look at what we're going to expect into San Diego. The weather in San Diego, shockingly, is clear. I know, I'm surprised too. San Diego's reporting few clouds at 3,000, scattered at 20,000. No visibility issues, and the winds are dead calm. So, likely we'll get the visual of the 2.7 in the pattern, unless any of you have a hankering to see something else. If you would prefer that I fly something different, I'm always game to give it a shot. San Diego has a localizer 2.7, an RNAV 2.7, RNAV 9er, ILS or localizer runway 9er, which we're not going to get either of the 9ers, so oh well. Hey, FW198, good to see you. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it.
Contact SoCal approach on 135.4.
We should be getting a frequency change here pretty soon, I would imagine. There's no way we've stayed in the same sector this whole time, so I'm gonna be alert here. If we lose ATC, then that's a sign that we need to take matters into our own hands and try and figure out who we should be talking to, because it is not unheard of, even in the real world, that airplanes get forgotten. And PilotEdge models transmitters and transmitter distances, so we have a big database of all the transmitters of all the SoCal sectors.
Form SoCal approach, good evening.
And all of the locations. So we know when you should be able to hear a controller and be heard by them. And so it is very easy for you to just be flying along and lose comms, just like you would in the real world. So.
Victor, contact SoCal approach 119.6.
119.6 for 526 Victor. Just as I was saying that, here we go. SoCal approach, Caravan 526 Victor, 900,000.
Caravan 56 Victor, SoCal approach, good evening. The Ramona Alpha 3009er.
3009er for 526 Victor. FW190, this is the Carenado Cessna 208 Caravan. It is the 11-seater. I affectionately call it the bus, because it is big and slow, but it is fun to fly. No, I'm not using keyboard shortcuts. I actually have two of the SciTech radio panels sitting on my desk. So my technique that I've developed through much trial and error is I pull up the screen so I can see what the value is, and I actually just reach out with my right hand and change using the knobs. I don't use the displays on the SciTechs. I keep my eyes up on the screen. That's because in X-Plane, sometimes the SciTech displays don't work. Like the LCD readouts on the actual pieces of hardware don't work. Tonight they happen to be working, but the other night when I was streaming they weren't. So. Yes, I am running that newish San Diego scenery. I've flown in and out of there a couple times. It kind of makes my system bog down a little bit, to be honest with you, but it's worth it. Yeah, we got the whole crowd here. This is a new record for me to have 14 viewers on the stream, so I appreciate all of you hanging out with me a little bit. We know you have a choice in your evening's entertainment, and we thank you for flying with me. Alright, so we are probably not going to make any more automatic turns at this point. We're departing Tanner. We're coming down to Hale. I guess it's possible we will fly this leg. Possibly, but I would expect on or before Hale we're probably going to get vectored off and sent towards the airport and told to start looking for the visual approach, unless the weather happens to deteriorate in the next 30 minutes, which I doubt it will. Hey, Cranky65, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Mr. Hexphere, the Dexter. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. It's true, I am over the weight limit. Also, I think flying a Caravan where all the seats were filled with other pilots sounds like the worst job ever. Talk about backseat drivers. You guys are bad enough on the chat with the thoughts, shall we say. Martis Pilot, that's a little app called
number 631 Charlie Josh approach.
Sub Alerts or Alert Sub or something like that I did a little bit of configuring on. I need to fix it a little bit. I need to I don't like the fonts, but yeah.
For 631 Tango, Roger.
Yeah, so why I'm flying a Cessna. I explained a little bit earlier, I use the FS Economy add-in, which is not really an add-in, it's kind of a standalone system completely. And so this is actually a flight that's making me some virtual
631 Charlie, radar
money
contact,
in this virtual kind of persistent economy. It's an add-in, it's a game. I mean, it's kind of like FS Passengers if you were around back when that was kind of popular and around a lot. So yeah, I mean, for me, it gives a structure to my flying, and I still load up stuff and fly around whenever. But for the most part, I like to fly on FS Economy.
206.
Gives me a little more structure to what I'm doing, and it's a little more simulating a real pilot who's flying for a small airline and is told, hey, you fly this plane from this place to that place, and you say, sure. So, yeah, it works for me. I also like flying on PilotEdge, and I feel like flying small airplanes is well suited to the PilotEdge coverage area. It allows you to get in and out of most places, especially the Caravan is really well known for its short field performance. So, whereas the place we departed from, Redlands, it does have a 4,000 foot runway, so you could take a small airliner in there, maybe, but I wouldn't want to, and so yeah. Yes, you can choose in FS Economy which flights you fly. So you can choose to only fly flights within the PE coverage area, and that's exactly what I do. And yeah, you do need to save up to buy a better plane, but you can also rent planes by the flight hour. So even if you're just starting, you're not going to have 1,000 virtual dollars to buy airplanes. That's fine. You just rent until you can earn it. And I've been doing it for long enough that I've got a couple planes, and this one is my biggest one. I think this one is like 700,000 virtual bucks.
Cleared to the San Diego Lindbergh Airport as final. I'm paying 7,000. Caravan 4 Zulu, Roger. Clear direct Dana.
So we're going to have to start listening a little more carefully because there's another Caravan on this frequency. And I've already done one goof where I responded to an instruction that wasn't for me. And that made me feel like a friggin' idiot, so we're not going to repeat that if we can avoid it. Maintenance costs are not modeled directly to the sim. The planes do require virtual bucks to be put into them once in a while, especially if you don't use them for a while, but you can't like overrun the engines or cause issues like that.
Station 1 Tank Charlie, contact correction, Los Angeles Center on 125.27.
It does model fuel usage, so if you fly balls to the wall and use all your fuel, especially in the airliners, you will
number 1 Tank Charlie, that frequency
possibly lose money on your flight if you don't have enough passengers to accommodate your fuel usage. That's another thing I really like about the Caravan. It holds 11 FS Economy passengers and costs like almost nothing to operate, so it's pretty much just a money machine.
King Air 0 Delta, Roger. Yep, Roger, thanks. Station Air 631 Tango Charlie, Los Angeles Center, good evening, tag at altimeter 3016.
Yeah, check out FS Economy for sure. I mean, it's not for everyone, and it's if you like it, you like it, and if you
Caravan 526 Victor, do you have the weather for San Diego Lindbergh?
We do for 526 Victor. Thanks.
For 56 Victor, Roger. Odds are indicating 3,000. Planned visual approach for runway 27. Localizer is available upon request.
Okay, well the visual 27 should be just fine for us. Thanks, 526 Victor. How it works with passengers, the system auto-generates jobs. of both passengers and cargo between airports. And there's another layer. Players can own FBOs at airports and set up cargo and passenger jobs between them. So essentially, flying is a matter of browsing around, flying an airport you want to start from, looking at the jobs available from that airport, and figuring out if you can get enough together to go to that airport. You can also fly kind of hub and spoke model, and some of the bigger groups on FS Economy do that. They'll have dudes fly feeder routes essentially, and then they'll have one guy in a bigger plane move them farther. So yeah, it's essentially random, but somewhat predictable. And SoCal being as big as it is, with as many airports as it is, I don't usually have to look very hard to find something to do. Alright, so we're coming into the San Diego metropolitan area here.
Kaiser 593 SoCal approach, good evening, Burbank, altimeter 3008.
San Diego airspace, the airport's like right over there-ish. You as a pilot don't always have to depart from the same airport, so you can hop around and fly different planes. It tracks the location of the plane though. So when we land here, my Caravan's going to be on the ground at San Diego. So if I wanted to go pick up passengers somewhere else, I would have to go fly
Stationer 1 Tango Charlie, traffic is 1 o'clock and about 3.5 miles northbound VFR.
One thing I don't like about it is that all the military fields are set up on FS Economy as well. So that leads to some slightly unrealistic situations where you're flying a bunch of passengers from like Miramar to LAX in a civilian plane.
I didn't say a helicopter, there's a VFR.
Probably wouldn't happen, but you just kind of make it work for you and close your eyes and just do it.
Caravan 49er Zulu line. Caravan 49er Zulu, I'm sorry, is there any question?
There are landing fees, and you purchase gas as well. So remember I mentioned players can own facilities on airports. You pay them for gas and the landing fees.
Second connection.
To own an airport, you have to keep it supplied though with a steady diet of supply jobs, which are kind of a pain in the ass to fly around. So I don't ever do that because
and just confirm you will be continuing on the Ziggy run.
It's more trouble than it's worth. It doesn't make you that much money.
King Air 0 Delta Yankee Ontario Airport.
But for the bigger groups that have a bunch of pilots willing to fly,
Ziggy for
no big deal.
The Ontario altimeter now 30049.
You boys like Mexico? I'm going to start saying that every time I fly into San Diego. Thanks, Deck, for that excellent contribution.
Number 0 Delta Yankee Deck Joshua approach on 126.1 with 3 back right. Caravan 526 to return left heading 140 vectors for the visual approach runway 27, descend and maintain 7,000.
Left to 140 and down to 7,000 for 526 Victor, thanks. Alright.
King Air 50 Delta Yankee Joshua approach, roger. Descend and
these SciTech panels are so slow.
1,000 Ontario altimeter 3009. Caravan 49er Zulu.
Hey, Atomic Frog, good to see you. You picked the perfect time to come in. We're just on our descent into
Caravan 49er Zulu.
San Diego Lindbergh.
Squawk and maintain VFR. Frequency change approved.
So let's get the frequencies sorted over here as well.
Stationer 1 Tango Charlie, contact Los Angeles Center now 126.35.
I'm expecting one more frequency change to a different SoCal sector. But we will be ready to go to 118.3 for Lindbergh Tower fairly soon. Yeah, I had the CH yoke for a while, and it was okay. I fly right now with the PFC yoke, which is
Stationer 631
way overkill.
Los Angeles Center. Good evening.
Nice.
306.
The first time I flew a pattern with this PFC yoke, it was the best pattern I'd ever flown in my life, and I was like, okay, I'm never going to fly anything that's not this. That's how that's going to work.
Caravan 5-2 Victor, contact SoCal approach 124.35.
2435 for 526 Victor. SoCal approach, good evening, Caravan 526 Victor, descending through 8046.
Caravan 526 Victor, SoCal approach, good evening, Lindbergh, altimeter 3009, winds are calm, visibility 10 miles, few clouds at 3000, temperature 16, dew point 12.
Okay, thanks for the weather, and I lied earlier, we're descending to 7,000, not 6,000.
Caravan 26 Victor, roger.
Yep, I spend a lot of money on my sim rig. I've been doing this hobby seriously since 2002. A friend of mine introduced me to VATSIM, and it kind of reignited. I jerked around with Flight Sim in the olden days, and VATSIM I was like, okay, well, now I'm going to be hooked for life, and I've spent hundreds to thousands of hours in civilian flight sims doing ATC, and yeah, I've spent a few bucks here.
King or Zero Delta Yankee, did you still want a circle, or do you just want the go straight in for runway 1 of the 8s? Sounds good. As a 597 the form, contact LA Center 125.27.
Yes, you're correct. I should spend money on a PPL. However, as I've mentioned on stream before, living in Portland, you really have about 4 to 5 VFR flying months out of the year. So I'm very reticent to spend a dime on it until I have enough saved up to do the whole ticket, and that's going to be a while. So.
That's a 5973 uniform. Los Angeles Center, get evening at Palmdale, altimeter 3016.
Flying around. Jazz, if you bring your Cherokee out here, that'd be sweet, man. I'd love to go flying with you. You know that. Can I be on a beard cam video? For those of you who don't know, Jazzan over there is a friend of mine from various online internet jerk circles, and he's a real-world pilot who just bought himself a Cherokee. So if you want to be jealous of anyone, you should be jealous of that man, because he owns his own aircraft. And it's pretty sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and program 118.3 in here, so the tower frequency. I like to be in advance of having... I like to have that dialed in well in advance, because final approach is not the time to be manipulating knobs, shall we say. In case you're curious, here's our progress. We got pulled off course before hail, just like I thought we would, and we're going to be vectored around here for the visual approach.
King up, Delta Yankee Joshua. Here, 50 Delta Yankee, on to switch back to using the runway 26s in contact SoCal approach on 135.4.
We are running at a very high angle of attack because I had pulled the power out, and we leveled off at 7,000 and I didn't notice. Whoops! Go ahead and speed up and get that nose down, shall we?
49 Zulu, standby. Here 50 Delta Key SoCal approach. Roger, Ontario altimeter 3009, wind 040 at 10.
Hey Frog, thanks for stopping in and saying hello. Appreciate it.
runway
Appreciate
26
the
right.
advice you gave me earlier as well. It's good to see everyone that is able to come out and support the other streamers. It's super cool. For those of you who don't know, Atomic Frog over there has a
Here's Euro Delta Yankee,
ridiculously awesome stream, so you should be following him if you're not. If you're not already, make sure you follow him.
Number 49 Zulu. Yes, a little bit more than I can do over the frequency. You probably want an email to support at pilotedge.net. You might also want to check that there might be information already there too. Caravan 26, clear turn right heading 180.
Right to 180, 526 Victor. I was just about to ask for a revised heading, and there it is.
Caravan 26, clear descend and maintain 4,000.
Down to 4,000 for 26 Victor. Passed over right over Gillespie, which is a field that I actually went with.
Here's Zero Yankee, Roger, expect that. And after
Keith doing
high
a little
top is
PilotEdge sales
8,000.
back in the day, a couple years ago. Realized that my plane was not descending the way I had told it to. I need to start paying a little more attention here.
Caravan 26, big right heading 210, descend and maintain 3,000.
Right to 210, and we are now on our way down to 4,000. Sorry about that. 26 Victor.
Number 26 Victor, descend and maintain 3,000.
Down to 3, 26 Victor.
Lindbergh Airport, soft bouncer 1 to 2 o'clock and 10 miles. Report when you have it in sight.
Alright, 26 Victor, we've got a little bit of a haze layer, so probably need to get a little bit closer. Of course I know where the airport is. I could proceed direct to the numbers using the GPS if I wanted. But, oh well. There's the skyline, which I know the airport is right on the other side of that. So hopefully we'll get a turn here pretty soon. We can go look a little closer.
Caravan 26 Victor, then to maintain 2,500.
2,500 for 26 Victor. I think I picked up the field, but I'm going to take another look after I dial this in. Also aware of the multitude of airports in this area, so I want to make sure I got the right field. Yeah, that's the airport. Alright. And Caravan 26 Victor, we have the field inside.
Caravan 56 Victor, Roger. Clear visual approach runway 27.
Visual approach for 27, 526 Victor. turn on over towards the airport.
Caravan 26 Victor contact, Limburg Tower 118.3. Good night.
18-3 for Limburg Tower, 526 Victor, thanks for the help. Sorry for reading back the wrong instruction earlier. Got 18-3, yep. Limburg Tower, good evening. Caravan 526 Victor on a very long final for 27 visual.
Caravan 526 Victor, Limburg Tower, runway 27, good land.
Clear to land, runway 27, 526 Victor, thanks. That voice is Peter Gray.
Sir, remain soft, runway 27, center
Peter
line.
Gray is the PilotEdge Director of Quality Assurance and Operations. He writes all of the procedures. He is in charge
Caravan
of
526 Victor, traffic. It's a police helicopter running over downtown, a low level speed on factor for you.
Okay, we'll be looking. Thanks, 526 Victor. He's one of the best controllers I've ever met.
Limburg Tower, helicopter 3
also an ATP.
With the weather, north ramp,
So-
looking to depart to VFR northbound up the coast.
He kind of knows what
Doctor
he's doing.
734, King Delta, Limburg Tower, northbound departure is approved. Remain north of the runway 27 to center line at all times. Wind calm, proceed as requested.
Here, remain north of the Devon center line, all times clear for departure.
So now I'm curious, is that police helicopter one of you guys that decided to go fly around in San Diego? Because if so, that's awesome. There's the helicopter there, I believe. As a telepilot, that would explain it. He checked in for a little bit and then kind of mysteriously disappeared. Yeah, you learn the voices, that's for sure. I'm like that with the controllers. I don't know the pilots as well, except for a couple. I know Keith, and I know a couple of the other dudes that I fly with regularly, but that's awesome. Streaming a flight and hops on to give us a little traffic to see and avoid. That's rad. I have a lot of respect to those guys who can stream the helicopters. I am terrible at flying helicopters. I'm not real great at planes, to be honest with you, but I'm a lot worse at helicopters. Okay. Let's see how much our frame rate slows down. Helipilot says he's got money to make on FSC too. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Another day, another dollar. Yeah, the dash view is always a little bit screwed up. That's why I have this one which shows me the six pack, and then I have this one which just gives me kind of the scooted up view. I'm 6'5", so I'm used to the tall view. Let's just put it that way. And I can glance down once in a while. I don't know. I might actually change it to be more like this. I kind of like this view, which is the higher viewpoint but tilted rather than panned. So. Nice, helipilot, so he's going up to French Valley. That's cool, man. What are you flying, helipilot, if you can hear me? If not, maybe someone can relay for chat, since I should be, landing. Get our flaps out. I'm starting to balloon a little bit because of those flaps, so let's bring it down. There's a nice cloud layer that appeared out of nowhere. Thank you. Explain METAR interpolation for that. Bell 407 with 6 passengers. Sweet. Sweet, man. That's cool. I've never flown a helicopter on FSE. Because I crash them immediately, and that's not really conducive to making virtual dollars, so
Like before taking it out to the San Diego Class Bravo, say squawk VFR for Tuesday everybody.
Squawk VFR for Delta, thanks.
We're still super high. Big old displaced.
Gear 5 to Zulu, Riverside Tower, loud and clear.
We're notch flaps. And we are still super high. Let's get down.
Tower Sheriff 6, like transition northbound along the 5 freeway up the Montgomery. We've got the trap got final value with maintain visual.
KR50 Delta Yankee Ontario Tower circle south of the airport and a right downwind runway 8 right report midfield downwind.
Several years ago, Keith and I were in
Seraph Sigberg Tower approved
San Diego doing some PilotEdge
Sure,
work together, and we went to a bar in San Diego, a little Mexican place, and it's right under the approach path for 27 with an outdoor patio. Oh man, we had a good time drinking margaritas and watching the planes go over the top. It was super cool. I flew into San Diego in a Alaska Airlines flight, real world, about 3 or 4 months ago, and we actually had to go around because there was a United plane stuck on the runway. So we got a nice little tour of the islands and the Navy ships. It was fun. All right, settle this sucker down.
Tower Sheriff 6, clear the north, transition on Montgomery.
Sheriff 6
Ground
53.
dialed up, 23
Sheriff
nothing.
6, 6.
Flaps in.
Seraph 6 Montgomery hairlining at your own risk area to non-movement area. Wind 350 at 4, proceed as requested.
We're on Bravo 5, short of Bravo. Limburg ground, good evening, Caravan 526, Victor on Bravo 5, taxi to the commuter terminal.
450 Delta Yankee coming south of the airport. Here's Delta Yankee, you're taking this downwind report runway 8 right, clear to land.
Make that call again, I think. Limburg ground, Caravan 526, Victor on Bravo 5, taxi to the commuter ramp.
526 Victor, taxiing via Bravo remains for beginning.
Bravo on this frequency, 526 Victor, thank you. Hey, Flight Side Deck, thanks for the host. Unfortunately, I'm just about to pack it up here. Gonna make it a relatively early night. But I appreciate everyone hanging out. It was great to see the conversation scroll by. I was reading the chat and talking to people. I'm gonna try and fly again on Thursday. Probably do another IFR hop, most likely in the Caravan. So that'll be Thursday night. Probably around 7:30 Pacific time. Love to see you guys again if you're free and feel like hanging out.
.365X St. Louis Tower makes left base runway 29 report 2 mile left base.
Thanks, Ed the pilot. Thanks for stopping in, man. And thanks for giving a little traffic. Always good to see. All right, park and brake on. Of course, open the doors. We're good to go. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. I'll be back, like I said, Thursday night. Thanks for hanging out. It was a lot of fun. See ya.